Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar brought to you by MicroChannel. My name is Jeff Clark, and today we're going to cover the topic of the big trends and issues in B2B sales and marketing today. So we've got a fair bit to get through, and we won't keep you throughout the day. I know a few people are joining, quite a lot of people are joining as we speak. So we'll give it a few moments as we get into it. But one of the key things we're going to cover as we cover those trends and issues is we're also going to talk about how to solve them and unify your worlds. And when I talk about worlds, we're talking about all the different channels and so forth, that experience for your customer, for a white glove customer experience, which is a big challenge today. And we'll also be doing this in the context of touching on a bit of around Dynamics 365 marketing as well. But before we get into that, just would like to properly introduce myself and my co-host today. As mentioned, my name is Jeff Clark. I am the CX Strategy Officer here at MicroChannel. I've been here for quite a number of years and worked in this sector of customer experience, MarTech, data for well over a decade, a couple of decades. And my guest today is Peter Donnelly from MicroChannel as well. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Jeff. How are you?
Good, good.
Excellent.
So Peter comes from a very long background of CRM, MarTech and data as well. But he's also an avid surfer and dangerous mountain biker, I understand.
Exactly, yep. Stay away from me on a mountain bike, but certainly love a bit of a surf. But thanks for that lovely introduction.
No worries, Peter. So we'll get stuck into it today. We're just going to switch off the cameras so we can focus on the slides, and let's get stuck into it. So the agenda that we're going to cover today is, first of all, I'm going to cover off the B2B marketing trends as I see it for 2021. Then I'm going to cover off the big issues as I see it for B2B sales and marketing today, and I see that there are a number of challenges there. But then we're going to touch in how you can plan for success and deal with some of those trends and challenges. And Peter's going to jump in and tell us all about how Microsoft is tackling this space and marketing, and then we'll jump into some questions and answers. So let's get into the 2021 trends as I see them. And the first one, which won't be probably a great surprise to many, is omni-channel marketing and B2B marketing. So we are very used to doing multi-channel marketing now in B2B marketing. We're used to using SMS and email and websites and even B2B commerce and support portals and so forth. But the thing that's really happening now is that our customers, in a consumer sense and in a B2B context, expect those interactions to be consistent across those channels. And if you think of yourself as a consumer, you expect that. And so why should our customers not expect that? They absolutely do. And it's really imperative that we understand that we need to make those experiences consistent across every single touch point that we have with our customer today. Now, the second part of this is that we know that those that adopt an omni-channel strategy have far greater retention rates than those that don't. So it's not just a case of delivering an experience, it's a case of winning those customers and keeping them with that consistent experience. And it makes sense when you think about it, because if you're a customer and you interact with a particular channel, you want them, the brand, the organization, to know you, to understand you, to make your life easier. So it's imperative that we actually deliver on omni-channel marketing. And with that, it's interesting to note that over half of businesses today do not have an omni-channel strategy, right? A cross-channel B2B strategy. So they're used to working in particular channels, but they have not really thought about it across every single touch point and the best way to make that work for their customers. And so really omni-channel marketing is even more important than ever before, right? And the reason it's important is, in the past, we would probably create content and use that same content across every single channel. and we need to be better than that. We need to be able to customize and personalize that content across every single touch point that we have with a customer. And how do you do that? Well, you think of those channels which are the high value channels, and you customize and focus on those channels more. Okay, they're the ones that are going to deliver the benefit, and you curate your content specifically for those channels. And that effectively means that you can then also personalize more, and personalization is becoming much easier today, with a lot of personalization engines developed and working with a lot of the marketing technologies out there. So omnichannel is the big thing. We've heard about it for a long time, but it's really coming to the fore, and we're starting to experience that in our own personal lives. The second trend is what is called rich content syndication, which is replacing SMS. It's a rich way of providing SMS messages, and it's been on the draw cards for a number of years, and it's been used in the US now for a little while. Brands like Spotify have been using it very successfully, and we'll start to see that in Australia and across the region this year. We'll start to see it in a consumer context, but really what that allows is two-way interactions, right? Two-way interactions, and you could imagine the sort of opportunities that will open up to B2B marketers, right? So traditionally we've used things like SMS for events and surveys and the like, but now, you know, we'll be able to use this two-way medium, and I can see that, you know, especially in the financial services industry and insurance and telecommunications, you know, they'll be the first areas to start to adopt that for B2B marketing in this region. So look out for that. The next trend is around mobile commerce. So mobile commerce has really accelerated in the consumer space. We all do it. We buy things on our phone, and a lot of the e-commerce companies have really doubled down on making sure that experience on the mobile device is seamless and works incredibly well. Now, at the same time, as we know through the pandemic, B2B businesses have digitized. So we've had a lot more growth in B2B commerce. It's absolutely accelerated. And with that, we will start to see the benefits that all the e-commerce companies put into consumer mobile commerce flow through into B2B commerce. So you're going to see a lot more mobile enabled B2B commerce next year and beyond. It'll be a very, very big thing. And then we move into data and AI, machine learning, predictive analytics. Now, when we think about that, you know, we have all those different channels and all this different data, and I'm going to talk a bit about that before, but we've talked about AI a lot over the years, but really we're starting to see more and more of it. It's becoming more inbuilt or augmented within our technology systems that we use today. And what that's allowing us to do is to drive personalization at scale. So it's allowing the ability to predict and give you insights, but it's also allowing you to automate and drive, you know, that personalization across all your touch points, and that's really what we need. So we're really seeing a lot more of that, and it's as I mentioned, it's accelerating dramatically. And then the next phase, you've probably heard about this, it's been talked about for a while, is the potential phasing out of third-party cookies. So we're probably all familiar with first-party cookies. That's the data that we capture, the brands capture directly, which could be through your website, or it could be through surveys, or sits in your CRM system. You're very familiar with that sort of data. And second-party data is data that we actually get from somebody else that's captured it directly. So we might purchase that data directly. So that's second party. But third party data is where a lot of data has been aggregated from a whole range of different sources, and that is typically used when we want to expand our customer base. So we want to target other customers through display advertising that match a particular profile, or in social media, or whatever it is. So what's happening there is Google is said by the end of 2021 that they will no longer support third-party cookies on Google Chrome, as an example. But they are trying to work towards a new standard as well there. So we'll see the impact of that potentially, because it would have a massive impact on the display advertising networks that we would work with today. And then, of course, security still is a big thing. In fact, it just continues to get bigger and bigger every year because we've got more data and more systems and more technology to deal with, and our customers demand it. So it's just something we have to be aware of. So they're the big trends that I see for 2021. So look out for those and keep an eye on those new technologies. And it's really about thinking about how you're going to adapt as an organization for those trends, and are you ready for that? But now I'm going to touch on some of the big issues I see with B2B sales and marketing today. So first and foremost, remember this, this is the old sales meeting. We are slowly starting to get back to it, but look, many years ago, you know, the decline of the direct sales meeting was starting to occur as more and more digital channels came into place. And that effectively means that, you know, we, instead of having that direct interaction where we're getting that direct information all the time from those personal meetings, we are getting information from all different channels that we're interacting with our customers and prospects, right? And that's really challenging for all B2B brands. We know that it's a big deal. And the other challenge is that in this world, we really need to be laser focused on who our customers are and their needs, and the buying group within that, right? For the particular offering that we might have. We need to know exactly who they are. And to do that, we need good data. Okay, we need good data, and there's lots of data there now. There's lots of data around all the different potential channel interactions they might like, the cues that we need to listen to. We need to drill it down and make sure we understand not only, you know, the demographic information or firmographic information of the company and the technographic information of the technologies that they use and so forth. We need to go deeper into those personas, and that takes effort. That takes a lot of work and effort, but it's critical to make sure that we've got that done before we move forward and we understand our ideal customer, what they look like and their profile. And then as an extension of that, you've probably heard about account-based marketing. So account-based marketing is wonderful because we're not just thinking about selling to an individual, right? It's a structured process that we can follow to win our customers and keep our customers. And if we were selling to a single person operator, it would be easy. We wouldn't really need this. But the fact of the matter is that organizations we might sell to are very complex. They have lots of people in different roles, and those different roles have different needs at different times, different interests at different times. And if we're actually selling and we're marketing to those organizations, we need to understand what that intent is. We need to understand their needs. We need to understand what they really require at that specific moment. And the way we do that is with account-based marketing. However, that process again requires a lot of information and insights to be effective. We need to know when to tell the salesperson that this is the right time to speak to them about a particular issue, right time to speak to the decision maker, the technology influencer, or the sponsor, or whoever it is. We need to know. So that requires a lot of data. And we're probably familiar with the old sales funnel, but look, the reality is that linear funnel is dead, as I mentioned, unless you're dealing with a single person. You know exactly what's happening. But that's really dead because we understand the buying journey is very complex today. And as we move through the different phases of understanding the problem and exploring solutions and developing requirements and then choosing a supplier to meet that, you know, we're seeing lots of different interactions and movements from a whole range of different people in that buying group, moving back and forth and round and round. It is not a linear process and it's very challenging to keep track of. So it's really, really important that we understand that. When you think about it, if we're in the B2B space, this is just showing some Microsoft screenshots. We do a lot digitally today. We could be on a webinar like we are here today. We could be viewing YouTube. We could be looking at reviews and ratings. We could be on an app source. We could be on a support portal. Could be natural search. There's so many different things that we could be doing. And that's all data. It's all capturing data. They're all particular insights and intent. And then you expand that out to all the other potential channels that we can interact with, and it becomes a little bit overwhelming. There can be a hell of a lot of data, and when you expand that across the buying group, all the different people we will need to interact with across selling to that customer, it can be absolutely enormous. It's very extensive, the data and the insights that we need to take consideration of. And that leads into the amount of data that is out there. So in the last 3 years, 90% of the data created in our world has been generated, right? And most of that is unstructured data. So the structured data is very much the data that we collect and organize in our CRM systems or data warehouses or whatever it is. And all that unstructured data is from all those different channels and systems that sit out there. And most organizations do not even touch that data. There's so much of it, it's overwhelming. But honestly, there is a lot of value in a lot of that unstructured data, and that's what we're really trying to solve to deliver that experience, because all that data is really buying signals. There's all these buying signals out there that we need to try to make sense of. And then when you think about all that, with all those channels, we're also generating content. Personalized content, not just for the channel, but for the different persona that we're targeting across all those different touch points. So there's a lot of data, a lot of things to consider and try to work through. And at the end of the day, we're here and we're trying to deliver this omni-channel experience, right? A personalized omni-channel experience. So that is just overwhelming when you think of it that way. It seems totally ludicrous and totally impossible, and why would you even try to contemplate doing it with everything I've just talked about? Because the reality is, if you're not hearing to the signals, you're going to miss out on those sales. And so that is the challenge. How can we listen to those signals? How can we deliver the experience that customers want? And the way that we do that today is what's called customer data platforms. So customer data platforms were devised 4 or 5 years ago specifically to deal with the problem of the proliferation of all this data and all these channels and trying to make sense of it. Because in the old days, we used to talk about having a single customer view, and that was easy. We would put it in CRM, and we had quite a lot of structured data that we would just bring into that CRM and expose, and that was our single customer view. Today, that doesn't work. So something new needed to be developed, and customer data platforms is really the way to bring all that together, to unify all those different data points, whether it's content or structured data or unstructured data, and map that to a specific contact that you know or you want to know, and then make sense of it, understand what it's telling you, and then make it actionable. So the big gap with all these systems in the past was it took you ages, months and months and months to get all this data into these systems, and then you've missed all this time in trying to action it. And then you need to take the data from those systems and send it somewhere else or to someone else and say, I need to action it. Now that's not scalable. That's not responsive to a customer's cues and needs. So what we're talking about is making it automated and actionable. So to deliver that real-time experience. So that kind of summarizes what I wanted to sort of touch on today, some of those trends and some of the big challenges in B2B sales and marketing. And a lot of them are really intertwined, as you can see. And this is where we're starting to talk a little bit more about solutioning. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Peter, who's going to talk a little bit about how Microsoft is really helping with this challenge.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. It certainly is overwhelming. Listen to all the data that we have to try and deal with. So it's certainly a timely time for Microsoft to come to the rescue a little bit and provide some solutions for us. But we haven't really thought about Microsoft before in terms of marketing. Like we know about their Power Platform, we know about Microsoft 365 Office and SharePoint and Dynamics and so on, but really Microsoft is actually coming to the party. And yes, Microsoft has arrived. So it's exciting, and we're going to kind of run you through a few solutions that are coming up on the radar right now. So with regards to Microsoft's customer data platform, Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, it's kicking goals already. And how do we know this? Not just because Microsoft and MicroChannel are telling us this, but because the analysts are telling us this, and so are the satisfied clients using the platform, as they are loving the way it works and are getting some amazing results from using it. So marketing, as you can see in the top right of the Dynamics 365 diagram, is now an incredibly important part of the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform ecosystem. And it really now strengthens the value of the platform even further. So Dynamics 365 Customer Insights is now here, and so it's now finally possible for this omni-channel personalization that Jeff was talking about earlier in discussing the challenges, and we're going to cover a little bit about that now. So delivering personalization at scale. So what Dynamics 365 Customer Insights does is it leverages the strengths of Microsoft Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform, all that unified application power, and provides a single customer view of your customers, making sense of all that data coming in from those applications. But it's important to note that Customer Insights can also work with data from any application, not just applications that sit within the Microsoft ecosystem. So let's think about all those apps that your customers interact with. So your website, your various marketing channels, social media platforms and marketing, email marketing tools, chat tools, customer service platforms, ERP data, accounting data, text messaging, any other data sources that generate data around your customer interactions. So essentially, Customer Insights can make sense of this data from all these sources and help deliver some powerful AI-driven insights and analytics to your various teams and business units within your organization. But more importantly, it will enable your teams and business units to create actionable outcomes from that customer data to help increase your revenue and increase your customer satisfaction, reduce customer churn, and more. So by triggering personalized actions or messages and offers that your customers will respond positively to. And in this day and age, as Jeff mentioned before, they expect you to. They expect personalization. So what does Customer Insights look like? So as you can see, it's a familiar Dynamics look and feel with a menu down the left-hand side, but it's quite different to what you see in Dynamics 365 Sales CRM, for example. So because this is a customer data platform, not a CRM, there are some very different, very powerful screens of information that we can see there. And yes, there's some business card type information about Patty on the screen, but through aggregating all the data from the various sources feeding into this single record, we can see trends and insights not normally seen in a CRM platform. So we can see insights related to her spend variances, brands she's shown interest in, her churn risk, her customer lifetime value, her engagement index, a timeline of her activities and interactions with us. So these are the types of views that can be designed to view your data and which can be gleaned from all the structured, semi-structured and unstructured data that Jeff was discussing before, except that it's now structured in a way that enables Customer Insights to provide a crystal clear picture of Patty, her interests, her buying habits, and so much more. So if organizations really want to understand their customers properly and their habits and their various buying groups that they're part of, and more importantly, do something with that information, then D365 Customer Insights is the place to do that. And so now I'll give you a bit more of an overview of how that works in the next few slides. So how do we get started? So to start with, we need data. the more data, the better. So how do we get the data into Customer Insights? So Customer Insights provides a simple interface to enable the connection with your various selection of data sources. And by the way, this is fairly straightforward, but note that the MicroChannel team can certainly assist further in helping you set this up to get Customer Insights up and running in your business, but it is a fairly straightforward process. So once we select the data source, the data, of course, needs to be mapped and matched to your customer records. And from there, we can then also create additional rules to improve the matching process to help get the highest possible match rate, to really help build the clearest picture of your customer with each additional data source added. And we can now take your matched aggregated data, and if you choose to do so, enrich it even further using third-party data enrichment service providers like Experian to add more attributes from their vast attribute library to enhance your customer data for even deeper insights and even more personalized actions. So when we take your newly enriched data and create customer segments, and as many customer segments as you like, as you can see here, we can then take action with those specific groups of customers for whatever reason you require. So, you could be creating segments to capture new customers of a particular product or service in a certain location that you're looking to capture, or say a high value unsatisfied customer segment like the one in the example on the screen, so that we might use this to market a special offer to them, or have someone senior from customer support get in touch to resolve their issue, because they're obviously a very important customer. It could even be a very small segment featuring, say, some complex requirements, say a high value customer who are at the final stage of agreeing to sign a large sales opportunity with you, but who have a current urgent and critical support case open, which needs your sales director's urgent attention to have resolved. So that particular scenario can all be managed and captured within Customer Insights and through actioning the data that we capture from them. And so these are just some of the types of segments that we create and then automate whatever actions needed to achieve a particular customer goal that you're trying to achieve at the time. So whatever the segment you require, it can be built inside Customer Insights, so long as the data you feed into Customer Insights is the right type of data to define your segment. So from those segments, you're able to gain deep insights and perform some analysis of the attributes and measures within Customer Insights. And we can then take action using the Customer Insights data by exporting that data to any application or series of applications of your choice, and then use those applications to drive the results. So whether you want to trigger something using Power Automate to, for example, create a workflow or task for someone, or create a nurture campaign using a marketing automation tool such as Dynamics 365 Marketing, or simply create a new lead or a case in Dynamics 365 Sales or Customer Service, or whatever applications you're using, there are many options on offer to enable whatever action you're trying to achieve with your segments. So to summarize how it helps us solve these customer data and marketing challenges, let's think about it this way. So on the left of the screen, we can see all of our data sources, all of our various client data from our internal systems, all our customer contact details, their transaction data, data related to the tickets or cases the customer might have raised, their email interaction data, and their mobile interactions while digitally engaging with you. And then we also have our external data sources as well. So, engagement data that your partners can provide to you can potentially be fed into Customer Insights, and event-related or loyalty program-related data, or any geographical-based data, Wi-Fi data, and data from social platforms like LinkedIn, which can also be used to enrich the business-related attributes in your customer data as well. From there, the platform can ingest the data and match it to your customer records and enrich the data, and then analyze it using the AI and machine learning capabilities inside the platform to provide the rich insights that we saw earlier. And then to action the data, in whatever way you choose, we push the data out to those various platforms for more personalized marketing and messaging across any channel, or to simply automate any kind of process off the back of the data, or to provide more powerful visualizations, for example, by using Power BI. So as you can see, we can now make sense of all that customer data that's being generated every day by all your internal applications and external data sources, and make sense of it for you to then allow you to use it to do whatever you want. So in terms of being able to use that data for whatever you like to do, the second part of this discussion today is around marketing automation and how you can specifically leverage D365 marketing as a big part of your strategy, and to put that data from customer insights or data straight from your Dynamics 365 sales CRM into action. So there's a number of areas where Dynamics 365 marketing provides real value over its competitors. The first is that it's built on the Dynamics 365 platform, and as such means it lives together with Dynamics 365 for sales, and therefore requires no connections or manual processes to move data between applications as you might do with other standalone non-integrated marketing tools that you may currently be using. But you can also run it as a standalone marketing tool in itself. The second point is that the platform provides a combination of marketing automation and events management, integration with customer insights that we just talked about, connected to LinkedIn and AI-based capabilities. The platform is also secure and compliant, of course, being a Microsoft product, and it's built on the Microsoft Azure cloud. And this also means that it's highly scalable to meet your growing digital marketing needs. And most importantly, it's easy to use. So the UI and the drag and drop functionality, which you'll eventually get to see this in the platform if we follow up with a demo in coming weeks, with the application makes it really intuitive for people to get the most out of using the application. So how is Microsoft's approach different with its new marketing automation tool? Well, it allows you to bring together data from nearly any source, including Microsoft apps and third-party apps, to gain personalized insights that enable you to take action. So the application provides you with extensive customer journey management capabilities to create those long-term relationships with customers that you're trying to build, and allows you to easily adjust the journeys if you need to respond to any changing situations or information. So you can also better align your marketing and sales teams by increasing the communication between these business units to achieve a better understanding of your customers and improve efficiencies between those two often very separate teams. You can also make more informed decisions with the product by taking advantage of greater volumes of data and insights powered by the AI capabilities on top of all the interaction data. And again, as it's a Dynamics platform application, you can confidently and smoothly grow your operations knowing that Dynamics 365 for marketing is built on that platform, which means simple connection to the other tools that you use, such as Dynamics 365 Sales, and the capabilities to easily connect D365 customer insights. So let's take a look at some of the functionality and features inside of the D365 marketing platform and see how the design and the look and feel helps add to the unique value I just mentioned. So here we can see a customer journey that's been built inside the application using the simple drag and drop journey builder functionality to build out the orchestrated steps necessary in this particular customer's journey, where there are a number of actions that occur, including sending an email to a particular group or segment of customers. And depending on the customer interaction with that email, over time even, we can then orchestrate other follow-up offers, messages, or actions, such as triggering a salesperson or a customer service person to make a phone call to that customer to maximize the outcomes with these customers. And any combination of rules can be set up to trigger any type of action based on any type of customer interaction. So those interactions could be a customer simply interacting with a page on your website, or downloading a case study, or opening an email, for example. We can also, of course, trigger actions based on customers who simply do nothing in terms of engaging with us, which then enables us to set some automated messaging or actions to make further attempts to engage with them. So these journeys can be as simple as you need them to be, or as complex as you like, and you can create as many of them as you like to ensure that you're constantly and automatically talking and engaging to the right customers with the right message at the right time in their respective customer journeys within your organization. Within Dynamics 365 for marketing, we can create a single view of prospects by unifying data across contacts, leads, and customers within Dynamics 365 Sales. So here we can see David Lee, one of our leads, and he's been interacted with in many different ways. He's visited our website a number of times, and he's completed a number of forms on our website, which could be from downloading some gated content such as case studies or brochures. And we're also able to see an email that was sent to him, perhaps as part of a campaign we ran or an event that we may have invited him to. So we can use this information to track David. A bit creepy, but we can automatically track David using lead scoring functionality to help us work out if we need to prioritize interactions with David and maybe decide, if now is the right time for a salesperson to reach out to David to help him with his purchasing decision or not. So using that incredible functionality means that we're helping to improve the coordination between marketing and sales, but we're also increasing the productivity between the two teams by ensuring that the sales team only attacks the sales-ready leads because they're handed off at the right time to maximize the opportunity. And so how can we alert sales reps when the client is ready? So messaging to the sales team can be sent also in a number of ways, including, of course, via the familiar Microsoft 365 tools, shared calendars, Teams, and of course, visibility of the leads, actions, and so on from within Dynamics 365 Sales itself on the rep's PC or mobile device. And so for anyone who's seen or worked with marketing applications before, creating sophisticated multi-step campaigns can be quite intimidating and often time-consuming. And with Microsoft Dynamics 365 for marketing, creating these campaigns it's no longer so daunting. You no longer need to switch back and forth between screens to build content like you might do in some other marketing tools. You can simply build the whole journey directly on a single screen using intuitive menus within the application. Customizing the canvas can also be done in a drag and drop interface, and you can set either horizontal or vertical layout options to suit. The event management capabilities of Dynamics 365 for marketing allow you to create, design, and run events end to end. It's really, really quite powerful. So you can manage registrations, lead mapping, and attendances. You can integrate agenda and speaker management processes from one dashboard. And of course, you can ensure that the attendees are communicated with post-event to ensure that you optimize the follow-up, and things like sending surveys to your customers, things like that are performed through the integrated marketing capabilities of the product. Your whole event management process is generally made incredibly easy. So including the setup and design of the event portal page to provide a professional look to any event you choose to run. And you can also run events virtually using Microsoft Teams and even stream your events online with Teams as required. So all this is possible with the Dynamics platform, and these types of seamless integrations between the various Microsoft technologies will continue to bring more efficiencies like this and more value to our Microsoft customers, and especially as the investment that Microsoft is making in the Dynamics platform continues to grow over time. And with that, I think, time is nearly up. So I think I'll pass it back to Jeff to sum up. Over to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Peter. Really just sort of wrap things up here. I think that was really interesting to have a look at that product, but really the different offerings Microsoft's doing in this space. Really what we've done is I've talked around what I see as the B2B marketing trends, and hopefully you can see those trends expanding and relevancy for that for your business and your role. And I talked about some of those big issues with B2B sales and marketing, and you can understand that there's a lot of that is around how do we focus and how do we leverage those insights and those cues from our buyers, and how do we coordinate that in a process, right? And that's got a lot to do with understanding that data. And then we touched on to planning for success, and that's really about being able to work with that data easily, and then being able to get insights and automate that. And that's where we talked about customer data platforms. We kicked in there with Peter talking about customer insights from Microsoft, and then how Microsoft's helping action that with D365 for marketing. So that's really it for today. We hope you've got value out of today's session. And just quickly, there's if you have any more questions, you can reach out to Peter directly. Peter's numbers and so forth, emails there. So please feel free to reach out to Peter, and he'll be more than happy to help. And with that, we wish you a very merry and safe Christmas. We hope the rest of the year rounds out very well for you, and we wish you a very successful 2021. Thanks, Peter.
Merry Christmas, Jeff.